is Farah. Not after the Farah faucet that was on the walls of every teenage boy's room in the 80s, but after the Arabic word for joy. And when I was a baby, I had pale skin, I had ringlets of golden hair, and bright blue eyes, a real-life Goldilocks. One time when I was at an airport with my grandmother and she had me sitting in her lap, a woman came to sit down next to us, and when I turned my head in her direction, she jumped back, exclaiming that she had thought I was a doll. As I grew older, my skin tone changed, my hair became browner, and my eyes became a darker shade of blue. But to everyone, I still looked the way that I always had, the way I probably look to you all right now, like a typical American girl. But if I turned to you all and said with confidence that my parents are immigrants from Lebanon, I speak Arabic fluently, and that I identify as a Muslim, would you still look at me the same way? Because of these things, my life has been a constant stream of having to defend my faith, my culture, and myself against people who would only recognize the things that I listed out as sources of fear and terrorism. I used to be afraid of telling people that I was a Muslim because of their opinion of me afterwards. At some point in time, I realized that I lived in a country that was founded on the idea of freedom of religion. So I stopped being afraid. Instead, I decided to embrace my identity and what it looked like with and without my faith. And it was my job to move forward and try to convince people that the person I am is the person that most Muslims try to be. So this is what defines me. Every single day I work hard so that people would see what a true Muslim looks like. See, I was too young to exactly remember the backlash against Muslims after 9/11. When my mom begged my dad to stay home and he had his olive complexion and jet black hair, I didn't understand that it wasn't because he missed us. It was because she was afraid of his life. I didn't understand why when we went to the mosque, the windows were constantly shattered and there was always graffiti on the walls. 16 years later, I've become more aware of people's sentiments towards my religion. I began to be hesitant to tell people about my faith because I didn't want their opinion of me to change. I enjoyed being well-liked. My opinion would never change because of their faith. At some point in time, I realized that it wasn't fair for me to hide who I was just because I was afraid of what people would think of me afterwards. Instead, I decided to embrace the role that my faith plays in my identity. At the same time, it was my job to continue to be the kind and compassionate person I always work hard to be so that people associate me with a Muslim, not the violence that they see on TV every day. These days, the implications that constantly arise with the Middle East and Islam are violence and terrorism. So I continue to smile at every single person that I see, and I make friends at every opportunity that I get. I keep up with good grades and I get involved with everything at school. I have to try twice as hard at my first impressions because whether people will admit it or not, the minute that they find out that I'm a Muslim, their opinion of me changes a bit. And for the most part, it's in a negative way. This is what I work hard towards. I try to make them see that I am the same as them. They realize that their discovery turns to curiosity, which turns to conversation, which then turns to clarity. Suddenly, the religion that they found so scary and terrorizing before becomes humanized. They realize that, like them, I stand and put my hand on my heart when I hear the national anthem. That I pig out to burgers and hot dogs every year while watching the Super Bowl with my family, and that, like them, I'm obsessed with my Netflix account. So this is what truly defines me. When people think of a Muslim, I want them to think of Farah, the Arabic word for joy. Not just as someone who has dark complexion and someone who wears the hijab, but as someone who was born in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and raised in Lubbock, Texas, someone who procrastinates on homework and dreads finals week, someone who plans on going to medical school and plans on one day joining Doctors Without Borders, just someone who plans on making a big difference in this world in a positive way. My name is Farah, and along with being a proud American, born and raised, I'm a Lebanese Muslim American, accompanied by a head of brown hair and a pair of blue eyes. Thank you.